Good evening, my brothers and sisters of the night. I see you there, cloaked in the shadows, draped in the battle-worn armor of your pain. I see the way you clutch the jagged remains of shattered dreams, your trembling hands stained with the echoes of tears that once carved rivers down your face. They mistook you for weak, didn't they? They saw your silence and called it surrender, your suffering and named it submission. But look at you now. Look at you now. Alive, breathing, unbroken, sharper than every knife they plunged into your back. Let me tell you something about those tears. Those searing rivers of pain weren't just a sign of defeat. No, they were ink. Ink with which you etched every chapter of your story. Each tear fuel, every sob, a spark that lit the inferno within you. And while you burned, they laughed. Oh, how they laughed. They gathered like vultures around a carcass, feasting on your despair, drunk on the illusion of your end. But they forgot something, didn't they? They forgot that ashes don't signal the end of a fire, they mark its rebirth. And now here you are, not the victim they mocked, but the force they created. See, the world loves to devour the soft, the tender, the unguarded. It loves to sink its fangs into those it thinks are prey. And that's exactly what they believed you were prey. But oh, how wrong they were. Because prey, when cornered long enough, evolves. It doesn't just run anymore. It learns to bite back. And you didn't just bite back. You devoured. You turned every scar into a weapon, every betrayal into a blade sharper than anything they could have wielded against you. Now, look at them. Look closely. Their eyes don't shine with pride anymore, do they? No, they glisten with regret. Regret for underestimating you. Regret for mistaking your patience for passivity. Regret for pushing you so far that you had no choice but to become unstoppable. They thought their whispers of doubt would break you, but now those whispers are drowned by the thunder of your triumph. The same tears they mocked now flood their hearts with guilt. The same pain they dealt now fuels your rise. They thought they were the authors of your story, scribbling their lies and cruelty across its pages. But now, you hold the pen, and oh, how heavy that pen feels in your hand. Write, my brothers and sisters of the night. Write in bold, defiant strokes. Write it with ink made from their regret and blood-red apologies. Write your story so loud that every person who ever doubted you is forced to hear it. Let them remember every cruel word, every betrayal, every moment they left you to rot in darkness. Make them remember. But don't stop there. Their regret is not your ceiling, it's your floor. It's the foundation on which you build an empire so vast, so undeniable, that even the echoes of their doubt are silenced. Don't just rise, ascend. Don't just survive, conquer. Don't just prove them wrong, make them wish they had never dared to doubt you in the first place. Your story doesn't end with survival. It ends with domination. So when you walk through the night, under the same cloak of darkness they thought would consume you, walk with your head high, walk as a force of nature. Unshackled, unshackled, unchained. Unstoppable, let your very presence remind them of their mistakes. Let the sound of your success echo in their hollow chests, a relentless symphony of what-ifs. And tonight, you do not forgive. Not yet, not tonight. Tonight you remember. You remember who you were before they broke you. You remember who you became when you rebuilt yourself from rubble and ruin. And you remember who you are now, a being they can't touch, can't break, and will never comprehend. So, my brothers and sisters of the night, let them live with their regret. Let them drown in it. Let them taste every ounce of bitterness they served you. And as for you, feast on it. Feast on it until you're full. Feast on it until you are whole. Feast until the echoes of their laughter are silenced by the thunder of your victory. This is your night, this is your moment. And they are nothing more than a whisper in the storm you've become. Good night, and may your feast be eternal. But wait, we're not done yet. You see, victories like these aren't quiet. They don't come with polite applause or silent nods of approval. No, they arrive like thunderclaps, like war drums pounding through the night. Your triumph isn't a flicker, it's a wildfire. Unstoppable and unforgiving. And it doesn't just light up the path for you, it burns down every bridge they thought you'd crawl back across. The same voices that once called you broken? Listen closely. Do you hear them now? They're not laughing anymore. No, those voices are hushed whispers of fear, the frantic murmurs of people realizing they've woken something they should have let sleep. They wanted a victim. They got a storm. But storms don't ask for permission. They don't wait for approval. They arrive. Fierce, relentless, unyielding. You are not here to blend in, not here to be tolerated, not here to be accepted. You are here to be remembered. Every scar you bear is a signature on the contract of your greatness. Every failure was a blueprint. Every loss was a lesson. And every setback, just a countdown to your comeback. They thought they could bury you. They thought they could pile their doubts, their insults, and their betrayals on top of you like dirt on a grave. But you were never the one being buried. You were the seed, and now? Now you've grown into something they cannot cut down, roots too deep, branches too wide, shadows too vast. You don't just stand tall, you tower. Don't stop now. You've come too far to stop at good enough. No one remembers the one who stopped at good enough. You are here to be legendary. Legends aren't whispered, they are shouted across generations. Legends are etched into stone, into memory, into the hearts of those who once doubted you. So keep going, keep rising, keep feeding the fire. This world doesn't need another person who almost made it. It needs you, fully realized, fully unleashed. And don't be surprised when the ones who doubted you start calling you inspiration. They'll say they always knew you had it in you. They'll twist the story, rewrite history, and paint themselves as your supporters from the start. But don't you dare let them. Don't let them steal the crown from the king or queen they never believed in. You earned it. It's yours. And you wear it like armor, forged from the same flames they tried to burn you with. But here's the part they'll never understand. True power. It's not just about being strong, it's about knowing you can destroy and choosing not to. It's about walking into every room like you own it, not because you seek validation, but because you know you belong. Power isn't loud, it's a presence. And your presence, it speaks volumes. It says, I'm not here for revenge, I'm here for the throne. Look at them now. Look at their faces. Confusion, regret, fear. The same people who tried to shatter you are now watching you carve your name into stone. The same hands that shoved you down are now clasped together, praying they're never in your way again. And you don't even look back. Why would you? The only thing behind you is dust and ashes. Your gaze is forward, your eyes locked on horizons they'll never reach. And when they ask, how did you do it? How did you rise from all that wreckage? You'll smile. Not a grin of malice, not a smirk of arrogance, but a quiet, knowing smile that says, I was always going to rise because deep down you knew. You knew every loss was temporary, every betrayal was necessary. Every scar was proof that pain wasn't permanent, but growth is. So tonight, when the world is quiet and the night feels heavy, stand still for a moment. Feel it, feel yourself. Not as you were, not as they called you, but as you are now. Whole, unshakable, unstoppable. This is the version of you they didn't see coming. The version that doesn't beg, doesn't wait, and never bows. This world owes you nothing, but you owe yourself everything. So claim it. Claim the peace, the power, the purpose they tried to take from you. No more seeking approval from people who never deserved to judge you in the first place. No more chasing validation from those who wouldn't lift a hand when you were drowning. Their voices? Static. Their opinions? Weightless. Their regret? Delicious. Tonight is not just a victory, it's a declaration. A reckoning. The old version of you is gone. Mourn it if you must, but understand that version had to die for this one to be born. They'll call you ruthless now. Let them, they'll call you cold. Let them, they'll say you've changed, but that's only because they never knew you to begin with. This version of you? This version doesn't explain. This version doesn't beg for seats at tables it was born to flip. This version doesn't fit into their little boxes because this version builds its own kingdom. No. This version doesn't follow the script they wrote for you. It rips it to shreds and writes something the world can't ignore. So keep building, keep growing, keep feasting on every ounce of doubt, every scrap of regret, every whisper of disbelief. Feast until you're full. Feast until you're whole. Feast until their silence is deafening. Because tonight is not the end, it's the beginning. And when the world looks back at your story, they won't remember the ones who doubted you. They'll only remember you. So sleep well, brothers and sisters of the night. Tomorrow we rise.